engineers decided it was time for a new solution.
Plasma gasification takes almost any kind of waste, solid, liquid, wastewater, even plastic and metal. Superheat, the waste enters the plant, and that's where the real magic begins.
All over the plant, there are little arcs of metal with two electric appliances at each end, cathodes and anodes. A noble gas, generally helium or argon, is pushed through the equipment and has electricity run through it, ionizing the gas. The great energy gain in the gas creates plasma, the same material that makes up stars.
From there, the plasma enters containers full of trash and sewage, superheating them until they become synthetic gas, a term we engineers generally shorten to syngas. Syngas is clear and completely harmless to humans and the environment. It exits through a smokestack at the top of the building.
And once again, tests from engineers here and in other countries to prove that the gas is completely harmless and does not contribute to global warming, harms nothing.
Right, we know. Anyways, before exiting the building, the syngas is run through a tube going to a boiler room, where the gas will cause water to boil and transform into steam, which will then spin a turbine and generate power.
And just in case there's an emergency, a disaster, or a plant failure, Urbon Purifier also has geothermal energy.
Urbon Purifier just happens to sit on a fault line where geothermal heat is abundant.
It's the Eurasian place. Urbon Purifier was in Italy where Florence used to be before the fire struck in 2027.
Yes,
150 years ago.
Yes, Mayor Muska, they know about the fire.
Well, I'm just making sure.
Anyway, our geothermal plants provide backup and emergency power for our city. It is also used in the areas where our plasma energy cannot reach.
Another byproduct of the plasma gasification process is a material civilians call superconcrete. It's actually a glass co-product called slag the government uses to create a special type of concrete. That's where superconcrete comes in. This superconcrete can hold more weight and is sulfate resistant, causing it to corrode much slower than regular concrete.
And of course, that means the concrete isn't replaced as often. Bridges, sidewalks, buildings, all of them last longer. And naturally, being replaced less often equals less taxes. You're welcome, Italy.
Anyways, class, today is the 150th anniversary of the fire that took Florence. As you know, the fire was caused by a series of arsons in the city. Today, our engineers worked very hard to prevent another fire, except from a different circumstance, plasma.
Let's be honest, if an explosion were to hit the plant, we'd all be toast, literally. That's why our engineers work extra hard finding ways to prevent disaster. As you know, the plasma is contained in metal. The metal plasma is contained in is made of extremely thick tungsten metal, coated in steel. Tungsten being the metal with the highest melting point.
That basically means it's very, very unlikely that any plasma could ever escape, ever, even during an earthquake.
Yes, we know. The metal is thick and strong. Plasma is not explosive. The plasma we use, by the way, is technological plasma, the coldest and most stable plasma there is. A very small fraction of the gases are actually ionized, allowing us to have more control over the plasma.
So that covers mass disaster, but what about personal injuries?
For the record,
Be quiet and let her talk.
I'm your mayor.
The employees that work at our Plasma Art Gasification Center are, of course, highly trained, but there's still room for error. Whenever employees enter the main gasification room, they wear special gear made of polybenzimidazole, generally shortened to PBI, a flame-protectant material often used in the gear firefighters wear.
Also, employees only enter the main gasification area when absolutely necessary, which isn't very often.
Once they return from the main gasification area, we take very good care to make sure that the person who took care of the air is at normal body temperature, hydrated, and healthy.
Otherwise, most errors can be taken care of remotely.
But is there anything else? All this engineering talk is making me busy.
Well, this is an engineering class, but today's the anniversary of fire, so I guess we can make an exception just this once.
Good. So what's the discussion?
Well, we aren't a college, so let's talk about the buildings that were saved. There were museums, restaurants, churches, plazas, universities, and even some houses that were saved by the citizens. Without the brave citizens who risked their lives for the beauty of Florence, we wouldn't be in this university right now.
The date was Friday, January 23rd, 2027. Police were busy in their stations trying to track down arsonists and figure out where they would strike next. People began calling 911. Fire was catching, buildings were burning. It spread quickly and the streets were filled with fleeing people. Then the Florence Cathedral caught fire. Accounts say someone screamed out, "We have to save it!" And so, many people rushed to save the old buildings, including the school you're sitting in today.
After the fire, the city council swore that they would make Florence better than it was before.
They named the new city Urbon Purifier, which means City of Fire.
And Urbon reopened universities, began doing research, and contributed to the world.
You see, City of Fire isn't simply because Urbon predecessor was lost to flame.
Urbon flourishes on flame. The plasma we use repurposed as trash, doesn't harm the environment, and has led to many scientific improvements.
Without the terrible tragedy that was the fire, we wouldn't have done any of that. So in short, destruction doesn't always equal doom.
Sometimes disaster brings out the best in people.
And that's a wrap. It looks like it's about time to end your class.
It is. It looks like, well, class dismissed. See you all tomorrow.
Very good, very good. Thank you.